on, bro. Bro, he's cheating, bro. He's cheating. He's cheating. He's cheating. 5, 9, 63, 99, 9.
Loki motherfucking Ross.
Dead. Let's go. And that is how you do it. What's up, YouTube? It's LowkeyRoss, and today I'm here to tell you guys about my controller settings. The number one question that I always get asked when I'm streaming is, what are your settings? How are you doing what you do? Could you show me your binds? Could you show me your button layout? Could you show me this? Could you show me that? So I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys a rundown of everything. So if you'd like to run what I run, you can do that. And if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. So we're just gonna jump right into it. The number one question that I always get asked more than anything else is, what is your sensitivity? So I'm gonna skip over my button layout, which is a little different than a lot of people's, and some of this other stuff, and just go straight to this. And we're gonna talk about this for a moment. So I personally have found that a 5.3 sensitivity is what I prefer, but I know a lot of folks who also run 5.4, 4.4, 3.3 even. You know, it's all about preference and what you're comfortable with. And I looked around and I tried a bunch of different things, and I realized that 5 with my regular sensitivity and 3 with my ADS is perfect for me. One thing you need to keep in mind when you are adjusting your sensitivity is that just because your favorite streamer might use this sensitivity, that does not automatically mean that you are going to be beaming or frying like they are, right? Because I have 3,000 hours, roughly probably 2,700 hours on this sensitivity right here. So if you aren't used to something like this, then I'm pretty confident when I say that you probably won't hit as many shots as I do. And that's fine, because you know, the more that you work at it, the better you're gonna get. So that is one thing to keep in mind when going with your sensitivity. But 5.3 for me is what I prefer. I fry with it. I hit my wingman shots, so I'm comfortable on 5.3. Next thing we're gonna go right into is the response curve. So a lot of people have different opinions on what the best response curve is, and I also believe that to be just another preference thing. But a long time ago, I was playing with one of my friends, Term K47, one of the most cracked players in the world. You guys should go check him out if you don't already know who he is. He told me that linear was what he ran, and I wanted to give it a try. And like it says in the definition, linear is simply just raw input, and it's kind of hard to adjust to at first, but once you master it, it just feels so much better than classic and any of the other options. Most people will probably run classic, but I have seen some people run steady. I have not really dabbled in the 3 middle ones, steady, fine aim, and high velocity, so I can't say much about them, but for me, linear is where it's at. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is our dead zones, right? And our dead zones are what we use to combat stick drift, which is every controller player's worst enemy. If you're not familiar with what stick drift might be, because maybe you're a new controller player or you're a mouse and keyboard player, what stick drift basically is the sensors under these analog sticks slowly starting to do their own thing, just because of the wear and tear from how hard we use it. Because, you know, as controller players, we'll have our controller right here and we're just mashing the buttons, right? Trying to look around fast, trying to move, trying to change directions, and over time that beats up on the sensors for these analog sticks, and it causes, as you see my cursor right here, it'll cause cursors to slowly just go up in a direction when you're not holding them. And it's something that can be very frustrating as a gamer, because it can throw off your aim and make you move when you don't want to move. So as far as I go, I prefer to have a large look dead zone and a small movement dead zone, mostly because I've never really ran into any issues with my left stick, which is what I use for movement, but in the past I have had a lot of issues with my right sticks. And for example, sometimes I'll have stick drift where I'm just looking straight up, right? Or maybe I am looking to the right, and both these things have caused issues in the past, where maybe I'm shooting at somebody right in front of me and I'm just shooting my gun, and then all of a sudden I start dragging this way and I'm like, wait a minute, this dude's still over here, and before I know it, I'm dead. So with the larger dead zone, it just gives it more of a radius for the sensor to not detect the stick drift, and that has helped me greatly. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is just a little controversial, because I have heard all sorts of different opinions on this, but personally I like to play with vibration on. Now a lot of people might be like, no, I don't like vibration, it throws off my aim. But honestly, I'm kind of the exact opposite. Actually, I learned the recoil patterns of all the weapons with vibration on, and now when I turn it off, I feel very uncomfortable. And maybe if I made that adjustment, I might play better down the line, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I put vibration on. A lot of people will ask me, they'll be like, yo Ross, do you use AOC? And long story short, no, I do not. I use it sometimes when I want to play without aim assist, and I just kind of mess with these, but I don't really care to get into this too much. There's a lot of research that I would have to do and kind of test out a bunch of different things to see what's best for me, and I'm comfortable with 5-3 like I said, so I just go ahead and run 5-3. All right, really quickly, I'd like to take you guys through some of this as well, and then I think that'll actually finish everything. But I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So first things first, menu cursor speed. Now this is pretty unimportant, except for the fact that when you are in the middle of a fight and you want to swap armors, you have to go into death box and slide down to the armor and click on it. And if you have a lower menu speed like this, it might take you a little bit longer, and that extra second could be the reason that you get killed. So that's something to keep in mind, that maybe you're comfortable with this, but you should probably try to get it at least around this area. And I think if you're right here, you know, you can get armor swap pretty fast, and if you're really nice with it, you know, you can put it as high as you want and do some crazy things, but I'm just not there personally, so I sit around here and I'm pretty happy. Next up, we have the trigger dead zones, and honestly I don't even know what these are. I've literally never looked at this setting in my life. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Apparently this is something I've just never had problems with anything, so I just stick to what's normal. After that, we're gonna go to the survival slot button. Now this is pretty useful, I won't lie. I turned it off just because I'm a streamer and I always try to go for, you know, the crazy trick shots with the wingman, you know, with the inspect shots. But if you have it, it does make it a lot easier for you to equip your heat shield or mobile respawn beacon, and can save you sometimes. So you should probably want it on, but me personally, I have it off. All right, next up, we're going to talk about my ADS button. And honestly, if you don't have it on hold, you need to get some help. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So we're going straight over to crouch now. Crouch is something I've actually seen a lot of people do differently. Some people prefer toggle, some people prefer hold. I am a toggle guy myself, but I have seen some people do some nutty crouch spams with their hold. So next, I'm going to talk about what I use for my interact and reload button, and that is to tap to use and reload. I'm just more comfortable with that, and I don't have too many issues with that. And one thing that most controller players do not know is that if you have a teammate who is knocked right on top of you and you want to reload, but every time you press the reload button it goes to revive, all you have to do, instead of pressing your whatever your revive button is, minus square, if you just hit your R2, your shoot button, whatever it might be, one more time, it'll actually cause you to automatically reload the gun, assuming that the mag is empty. And that's something that a lot of controller players might not realize, but it can help you in gunfights. My stick layout is default. Lord forbid you play on any of the other ones, because I don't know anything about them, but they just seem very uncomfortable. And lastly, we're going to my button layout. So about a week ago, probably less than a week ago actually, I changed from button puncher to customized. But what I would recommend any controller player that has played any other type of shooters in the past, switch to button puncher instead of default. And what button puncher does is it takes your melee and your crouch button and just swaps them. So now you're crouching on your R3 and you're punching with your circle, and it just feels a lot more comfortable. And so if you're new to controller, that is what I would recommend, and that is what I basically ran my whole career on until recently. But now I changed it to customized so that I can tap strafe. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what my button layout looks like right now. If you do want to learn how to tap strafe on controller, a fellow SOAR member, a friend of mine, Il Spooky, came out with an amazing guide that will show you everything you have to do, but it only works for PC users if you have the game installed on Steam. So if you do not have that, I'm sorry, but you won't be able to do it. But this is what my stuff looks like now. And also, if you do use this method, it will recognize your controller as an Xbox controller regardless of what it is. As you can see, I use a regular PS5 controller, no paddles, no anything at all, but it is just picking it up right now as an Xbox controller for whatever reason. But it all works the same. Every button still works as intended. And yeah, so that about actually wraps it up for what my controller settings are, my sensitivity, my button layout, everything in between. I kind of gave you guys a rundown of what I prefer and what I prefer to new players. As I will state again, I am currently using a PlayStation 5 controller, no paddles, no modifications at all. I did have a Scuff controller, unfortunately it broke, and I've ran through a lot of PlayStation 4 controllers, so we're giving this controller a try. But if you did enjoy the video, do not forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment, tell me what helped you, maybe what you do differently. I'd love to hear it. And thank you guys so much for supporting. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out.